So, for any of you who maybe follow me on Instagram, you would have saw recently I had put up on my story this AI prompt of adult me holding 3-year-old me. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's weird," or "Oh, is that your mom?" Or like everyone just had really mixed reactions to it. But my clients, Diana and Shelby, shout out to them both, had sent it to me and like, "Minty, you got to do this." And the reason they sent it to me is because in my coaching program, we do talk about inner child work. And so I wanted to deep dive into that a little bit more today on why it is so necessary to your healing. And back to that AI prompt, it was really cool because it generates this Polaroid of you holding this younger version of you. And why it is so key is because it personifies the exact person you're doing this for, the exact person that needs the support, that needs the love, that needs the self-care, all the things we talk about. It's not so much adult you, it's inner child you. And I'm going to bring that together for you, hopefully in a way that makes sense. Um, but it was, really cool that AI was able to do that. So, when I saw that, I thought it would be really important to do a little episode on why inner child healing is so important. And when I say it's so important, first of all, I am not formally educated or trained in this. Like, I am not a psychiatrist or a therapist or a psychologist. I just know what has worked for me and for my clients. So I'm speaking from that point today of what has worked in numerous cases now. But again, this is not formal education and I'm not licensed. So I'm sure you can consult if you are seeing a therapist or someone consult this. I'm sure they're going to have the same take. But inner child work, I have come to realize, is pivotal in your ability to manage stress, to heal burnout, to navigate healthy relationships, to uh, navigate relationships romantically and within your family or just colleagues or friends, your ability to grow and hold yourself accountable in a healthy way. Like it is just so key to how you show up in the world. And so I'll be honest, like I've always heard of inner child work. I've been in the, quote unquote healing space for over 10 years now, just working on myself. You've heard me say I've done everything from super spiritual stuff to, the real, like logical human science based stuff, And so I had always heard about inner child healing and why it was therapeutic. And so like I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I had done inner child meditations and things before, but nothing really clicked. It was like, okay, kind of like just be kind to yourself, talk to yourself nice, things like that. Give that little version of you a hug. And like I kind of got it, but it never really clicked to honestly a couple years ago. And so for me, what had happened was I had gone through this breakup. And first off, the breakup was so necessary. Like it was like I could see the writings on the wall. Honestly, don't even know why I ever got into that relationship. And so when it happened, it wasn't shocking or like, oh my God, we need to try and save this. It was not that at all. However, when the breakup happened, it kind of got drug out over a couple weeks. And the moment we had the initial conversation, I already knew. And it wasn't even the breakup that was hard to deal with. It was the pain that came to the surface because all that breakup was replaying or representing for me was this feeling of not being wanted, of not being loved, of not being good enough, of feeling unworthy, right? And feeling abandoned. All these core wounds that I had way before this guy ever showed up were just coming to the surface. So it honestly had nothing to even do with him and more just like God, the universe saying like, hey, there's still more healing to be done in this area. And this is the only way we could bring it to the surface. And so when I was going to that breakup, I remember laying there. And again, I wasn't even grieving him or the relationship. It was like, that wasn't it. I was just consumed by all this pain. And I was laying there in bed one night and I was crying my eyes out. And I remember I just said out loud, like, what do you need right now? What do you need to like to stop crying, to feel better, right? And the honest, raw answer came out of me and it said, I want someone who's going to stand here and tell me that they're not going to give up on me and they're going to love me no matter what, whether I'm a mess, I'm angry, I'm crying. They're going to love me through the highs and the lows, and they're never going to give up, and they are going to be here no matter what, and we're a team and we're going to figure this out together. And then adult me almost said back, it's like, hey, well, that's not happening right now. No one's going to step in and do that for you. So how are you going to do that for yourself? Right? It was this moment of realizing, like, no one's coming to save you, Minh-Thu. So you're just going to sit here and suffer until someone does? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So if no one's going to come save you in this moment, how can you step in and save yourself? And then it was like so intuitively it came over that I just needed to write this letter to this little version of myself. In my case, it's a 3-year-old version of me that I see very clearly. She's got a bowl cut. She's got a summer dress on that's white with pink polka dots. Like, I have this very clear image. And it was like she was the one that felt so unloved. And so intuitively, I was like, how are you going to step up for her? Because that's who's actually hurting right now. It's not adult you, it's her. And so I just decided to write her a letter. And the letter started off, I am so sorry that all this time I have been giving all this love to everybody else when I should have been giving it to you. And I bawled. It was this moment of realizing that, like, I have been this person who's always tried to prove myself and please others and perform, the person who was always making things happen and pushing through and ignoring my feelings and just, perfectionist, control freak, high performer, however you want to describe it. I've been this person who's just had to perform and prove myself for so long, or I thought I had to. And in the act of doing all of that, the same people I was trying to prove that I loved, or prove that I was a team player for, or prove that I was a good friend, colleague, employee, whatever, it's like I was spending so much time showing up for them that I wasn't showing up for 3-year-old me. And she's the one whose approval and love, or whose approval I needed the most, and honestly, who needed my love the most. She was the person who needed all those things, because if I was loving her properly this whole time, I wouldn't feel the need to do all this stuff for other people. So I wrote this letter to myself, and I just apologized for giving all that love to everybody else when really it was meant for her. And I promised her that moving forward, she would be my number one priority. I would protect her. I would provide for her. I would love her no matter who, what, when, no matter who or what came along the way. She would forever, from this point moving forward, be my number one priority. And guys, when I tell you that my life has gotten 1,000 times better since that day, granted, I've had to follow through on that promise I made to her. Like, I've had to actively follow through on building that relationship with her. My life has gotten so much better. I am more at peace. I have this incredible, incredible boyfriend and partner in Thomas. Like, all the love I've ever wanted for so long, I have found in him. And I 100% believe I had to resolve the relationship with her first to be able to welcome into my life and to be able to receive him. I've moved out to the country where life just feels way better on my nervous system. Lots of opportunity. Life has just gotten better. And that's not to say I still don't have my days and stresses and moments. Like, I am still human. But just overall, my life has become healthier on all facets: mentally, emotionally, physically, relationally, workly. like just everything has gotten better. And it's because I've prioritized what's most important, and that's little Minh-Thu, right? So let's talk about how that translates into how this works for you, okay? So first off, when we talk about the younger version of yourself, it might be hard to kind of conceptualize, like, what does that even mean? Like, inner child me, like, I'm just me. Like, and I know this isn't necessarily going to click just after you listening to this. It took a while for me too. But when we talk about the nervous system, which is in layman's terms, essentially, it's this system that runs throughout your body that incorporates your heart, your brain, nerves, all these different things, the vagus nerve, so many different things in your body. And it's constantly scanning your environment for threat. And it's constantly processing information about what's happening around you and how it's translating in your body. So with the nervous system, it gets imprinted on. Every time you have an experience or, a situation or event or whatever, there's an imprint that's left on your nervous system, and it gets stored essentially in a data bank. Okay. So it's like your computer. Every time you input something, it gets stored into the nervous system. And then that's what it refers to when it's trying to figure out how to respond to a certain situation. Okay. So when we talk about inner child you, that is referring to the part of your nervous system that is holding the stored data from when you were a child. Okay. And of course, we know whatever happened to us as a child is essentially the life strategy we adapt as we grow older, how we relate to people, how we feel loved, how we show others we love them, what we deem is acceptable societally, what we deem is acceptable as far as how we interact with people or communicate. All these things form when we are young. Okay, so these imprints get left on our nervous system. Now, yes, as you get older, you have more experiences and you develop some things, but there is a subconscious part of us that is essentially our survival strategy for life that we form as little kids. Okay. So this is why in those moments where you are triggered or you're arguing with your spouse or your kids throw some lip back at you or you're dating someone new and they don't respond the right way or your boss pisses you off, like in all these situations, what happens is you don't react from adult you. When you have these big reactions and you're more reactive, and even after you're like, why did I respond that way? Or why did it bother me that much? It's because your nervous system will look for the earliest imprint it has of a similar situation, and it will default back to that setting. So if you're having a conversation with your spouse and somehow they disregard you, they pick up their phone instead while you're talking to them and it looks like they're not paying attention, or they say something to maybe dismiss what you said, and you have an early imprint from your childhood of your mother or your father doing that, well, guess what's going to happen? In that moment, it's not going to be 35-year-old you responding. It's going to be 8-year-old you responding, because your nervous system goes, what's the earliest data I have on a situation like this? Oh, clocked it. Okay, cool. We're going to resort to that. And the reason it resorts back to that is because the nervous system goes to, what's the programming I have that has kept me alive to this point? So if in that situation, your programming is, I'm just going to shut down now. Clearly, they don't want to talk. Clearly, I'm bothering them. I don't want to be a disturbance, so I'm just going to shut down. And now you're holding on, your feelings. You've become cold and distant from your partner. And then maybe after, once you're out of it and you're back into a regulated state, you go, why did I do that? Why didn't I just communicate to them what I was feeling or what was going on with me? It's because as a child, you learned, hey, when mom and dad aren't happy or when they dismiss you, it's better if you just shut up and pretend like nothing's wrong. Right? That's what has kept you alive up to this point. So we're going to use the same strategy. You guys have heard me say the nervous system does not care if you're happy, healthy, growing. It just cares about keeping you alive. So even though in a conscious mind, an adult you knows like, hey, shutting down isn't the best strategy, the body in that moment goes, I don't care about what's the best strategy. I care about the strategy that has kept you alive this long, and that's shutting down. Okay? So when we talk about inner child, it's this imprint of multiple situations from when you were a kid that make up essentially this little version of you, right? And it's helpful to think of this little version of you almost as like a kid. Like if you have a child or a niece or a nephew, like personifying it in that way. Because when you go through this work of doing inner child work, of healing your burnout or your stress, that's the version of you you're interacting with. And essentially what you want to do is you want to give your nervous system or your inner child new references and new imprints in those situations to know that it doesn't have to respond that way, that they don't have to respond that same way, that you're going to be there for them. Because essentially what you're doing is you're rewiring your system to understand that adult you can now show up for little you and advocate in a way where your nervous system doesn't have to respond the same way. Okay. So I know that might sound a little complicated, but stay with me here. So let me relay this back to my situation. Okay. So in my situation, I was constantly abandoning my little girl, right? I would abandon her for relationships that didn't make sense. Like I wouldn't care about what I needed or what I wanted out of the situation. I would just try to make them happy. When it came to work, I would ignore my needs. I would ignore when I was tired or hungry, and I would just push through and work to prove myself. And so anytime she was asking for something, this young version of me, this basic nervous system that's inside, I would deny her and I would neglect her, right? I always say that kids, just kids in general, are very simple and they bring us to the present moment because they have no thought processes about overthinking the past or worrying about the future. They're always in the present moment, right? And kids always need one of five things, okay? They're either hungry, they need to go to the bathroom, they need some sleep, they need a hug, or they want to play. It's always one of those five things when it comes to a kid, right? And that's what keeps them present in the moment. They don't think about all these other things. They're just like, what do I need to feel nourished as a human being right now? And those are the five basic things, right? So knowing that, in those moments where we betray ourselves or self-abandon, essentially what we're doing is we're ignoring one of those five needs, right? So again, if I relate back to my situation of past relationships where I was feeling like I was always abandoned and neglected, every time I felt that, it was literally just 3-year-old me saying, hey, I need someone to be there for me right now. I need a hug. I need connection. I need someone to like show up for me right now and be there for me because this person on the other end's not doing it. He's not doing it. So it's like, I need someone to do it. But then instead of me being like, oh, I'm going to be there for you, I'm going to show up for you, I would just abandon her and try and prove myself to the other person. Right. So that might sound confusing to you right now. So how would I show up for her? So if I knew inside I was feeling abandoned from this relationship, I would hear her say essentially, hey, I need some love, right? Like if you thought about a little kid who felt like their parent just left them, let's say use your own kid as an example or a niece or nephew. I use my niece or nephew as an example because I don't have kids. So if my niece was feeling like, let's say her parents just left to the store and I'm watching her for the night and she starts crying, she misses her mom and dad. And even though they just went to the store, she might feel a little bit abandoned. Like, where'd my mom and dad go? What would be my first reaction? I would probably go pick her up and I would give her a hug and I'd say, don't worry, I'm here for you. It's okay. I'm going to be here for you no matter what till mom and dad get back. I'm going to be here for you. How can I play with you? Can I hug you? Just don't worry. I got you. I would let her no matter what. Let her know no matter what in that moment, I got her back and I'm not going anywhere. That's what I would do for my niece. And that sounds pretty self-explanatory, right? Like if I asked you the same about your kid, you would do the same. Yeah, I'd just be there for them until they felt like they weren't alone anymore, right? So now apply that lifetime to me when I'm feeling abandoned in these moments. It's like, okay, so my inner child needs me to show up for her. So that doesn't mean go work more hours or go prove yourself to somebody else or even go out and party or go hang out with your friends. No, that means I need to pour back into me. I need to spend some connection with me. I need to rest. I need to maybe journal and have some thoughts come out. I need to listen to myself. I need to talk kindly to myself. I maybe need to sit there with my hand on my heart, my stomach, and say, you know what? I got you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for you. Like I need to become that source of support and and um support and just be my own source of love and connection and all those things, like exactly like you would do for a kid. You need to be that for yourself. And what happens is every time then I choose to say, oh, you know what, Mintu, I'm gonna stay with you today and we're gonna we're going to stay home. We're going to do some journaling. We're going to do some meditation. And I'm going to spend some time just like hearing what's going on with you and spending some alone time, spending some time in stillness with you. Every time you choose to do that, instead of going to work more or show up for someone else or try and do something to prove you're worthy to someone else, you heal that relationship with your inner child. And it creates a new imprint from your nervous system of going, hey, maybe we don't get abandoned all the time. Maybe when we're feeling like we need love and support, there's actually going to be someone there to give it to us no matter what. And it's not someone we have to convince or wait on. It's someone who's always going to be there. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's this act of showing up for yourself and not waiting at the whim of someone else to do it for you. That's how you heal your inner child. And when you start to do that, and now your nervous system or your inner child goes, oh, we don't need them. Honestly, like it might sound harsh, but we don't. I don't need him to be my source of love. I don't need them to be my source of feeling worthy or valid. Like I can do that for myself purely by showing up for me, right? Because here's the thing. Every time you abandon or neglect your needs for the sake of being more productive or being more people pleasing or proving your worth, you lose yourself. You lose connection, you lose self-trust, and you lose confidence. And that's why I see so many high performers who get to this point and they're like, where's all my confidence gone? And they've done some shit. They've built great careers, they've proven themselves, they've climbed up in the ranks, they've started businesses, they've made lots of money. On paper it looks successful. But then they go, but why don't I feel fulfilled? Why don't I feel confident? Well, it's because in the process of getting here, you've neglected and abandoned your needs over and over to the point where your inner child's like, I don't even trust you, bro. Like, who are you? Like, cool, you have all this stuff, but you never show up for me. When I tell you I need to have some excitement in my life, you don't show up for me. When I tell you I'm tired, you push me to work harder. When I'm telling you I'm hungry, you tell me we're going to skip lunch to work. Like, that's where the self-trust goes. Again, think about if every time your kid asked you for a hug or to play soccer or for a nap, you just go, "Oh no, honey, don't worry. We'll get to it later. You can keep working. You just keep working and it'll go away. Your urge to want to play or have a hug or have a nap will go away. Just keep working through it, honey." How ridiculous does that sound? Right? Of course, eventually your kid's not going to trust you. Of course, eventually your kid's going to resent you and be like, like, so why are we doing this to ourselves? And this is true inner child work, okay? It's not just sitting there kumbayaing, meditating about it. It's about creating this real deep connection with the version inside of you. And again, going back to what I said at the beginning about this AI photo, it's much, that's why that photo is so great, but you could use any photo of yourself when you were a kid, is because you need to personify it. It's almost like you need to create this imaginary best friend that is this 3, 5, 7-year-old version of you. And when you're having these conversations, when you're having these moments, that's who you have to imagine, like they're your child again, or someone that you can actually personify it with. If you try to do inner child work, in my opinion, without having that visualization, it's really difficult to make sense of in your body. Okay. So I cannot stress enough, if you are learning to have a better relationship with yourself or a better relationship with your spouse, or even attract the right relationship or job, just anything, you need to learn to resolve that. And like in every relationship I see, and I'm not a relationship coach, but I obviously have a lot of conversations around them with my clients or just friends or whatever, like it always comes back to the inner child. My girlfriend actually said the other day, she's like, if we could just have our inner childs come to the table on our first dates, that would be really helpful in figuring out who your partner's going to be, right? But it's true, because when it comes to choosing a partner, it's easy to love someone when things are easy. It's easy to have great sex. It's easy to go on fancy dates and travel. Like, well, I guess traveling might be different if you're going, but it's who's going to be upset on a beach type thing, right? But when you have that inner child come to the table who's been hurt, who's felt abandoned, who never felt good enough, and you have those two inner childs meet, well, now you're really seeing what the foundation of your relationship is. And it's something you can grow on and work on together. But when you learn to become that own source, everything else is just a bonus. Like, Thomas is incredible. Like, when I'm with him, it literally makes me think, what the hell was I doing before? But I know it's all necessary experiences. But as incredible as he is, and as much as I love him, his love is a bonus on top of the love I have for myself. Like, like if I don't love myself first, his love is essentially doesn't matter. And that's not a knock to him or a relationship, but you have to fill up your own cup first and let the other person or the other things be the cherry on top. Because when you do that, nothing can be taken from you. Like, your worth can't be taken from you. Your ability to believe in yourself and trust yourself, your confidence, none of that can be taken from you when it comes from within, when you know you got your little girl or your little boy, right? It's the same thing. Like, again, if you have a child, it's like the world could fall apart, but I got you, boo. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I will always be here to protect you, provide for you. If we lose our health, if I lose my job, if the world goes to shit, the one person who's always gonna have your back is me. You'd have no problem saying that to your kid. It's like, duh. But you got to have that for yourself as well, too. And so, on a practical level, how do you repair this relationship with your inner child? Well, again, first off is you have to start checking in with them. And there's a voice inside your head that's going to be in your child, but it's going to be the quietest voice. It's going to be the voice that comes after you need to do this, get this done. If you do this, you'll be more efficient. It's going to be this quiet voice. And again, they're always going to ask for one of 5 things. I'm tired. I need to go to the bathroom. I'm hungry. I need to go have fun and play. Or I need a hug. I need some love and connection. It's always going to be one of those 5 things. And so you have to now get in a frequency of checking in with that little version of you, right? And asking, how are you? Do you need anything? And then shut up and listen for their voice. And that voice isn't going to be, I need you to get this project done by Thursday, so Friday we can focus on this meeting. That is not your inner child. Your inner child's going to say, I'm actually really tired right now. And then it's up to you to be like, okay, you know what? If you're tired, we're going to say no to this event tonight. Like, if you're tired, we're going to say no to it. Or it's going to say, I need to have some fun. Like, I feel alone. Like, okay, maybe it's time we go book some time with our girlfriends or go spend some time with our family who refuels us. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's when you have to listen for that voice and you have to give them what you need. But here's the thing. Again, when I started doing this, my entire life got better. And it will feel backwards at first if you've never done this. It's going to feel weird because it's like you're prioritizing you and your needs first. But I promise you, on everything I love, when you start doing this consistently, you not only get better professionally, but you get better as an overall human being. Like, 10 toes down, swear on my mama's head, who I love more than anything, your life will get better when you learn to repair this relationship with yourself. And again, then it becomes a relationship, a source of love and connection and joy that no one can take from you. So take this episode today as your sign to start doing some inner child work. And again, just start basic. Listen for that inner voice. Have a visualization of a particular age that you really want to connect with, and just start checking in. Ask them questions, see what they need, and then whatever comes up in that voice, follow through. Follow through, just like you would for your own child. If your kid asks you're hungry, you feed them. If they need a hug, you hug them. So do that for yourself. And yes, do you have responsibilities and things you have to take care of? Of course. But it doesn't take hours out of your day to feed yourself or to add some connection. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 10 minutes. It's just letting that inner child know that you are there and you're not going anywhere, and watch your life change for the better.